Hey guys, welcome to Jiva Yoga Live. I'm Charlie, and in this video we're going to go through some yoga poses that are great for lower back pain. Okay, so this video we're going to break down some poses, some beginner poses for lower back pain. We're going to go through some poses that you can do by themselves or you can put them into a flow, but my key take-home message here is that you just move with caution and care. When it comes to lower back pain, we just want to move in a way that's therapeutic and just really is conducive to healing, especially when we're working with the spine. You don't want to overdo it at all. And so for this video, I'm going to use a block and just to support myself. And so if you have one handy, grab that now. You can also use a book or a rolled up blanket. We're going to take the knees wide as the mat, and then we're just going to come down into a wide-legged child's pose. And so this is such a simple pose, but it's just a very gentle way to elongate the spine. And so we're stretching it from tailbone right through to the crown of the head here. And so super gentle, but super therapeutic. And so just allowing the forehead to come down to the mat. And that's it. You basically just breathe. You breathe into the pose, sending the breath into the back of the body, into the kidneys and right down the spine. There's nothing you need to do here apart from allow the body to rest and just allow the spine to stretch. And so when you are working with back pain or just trying to practice in a way that's restorative and therapeutic, you can spend as long as you like here. There really is no limit. So just 5 minutes more, longer, as long as you can, just allowing the spine to just receive that juicy stretch. But when you are ready to move on, you can just start to walk the hands back up towards the body. Just taking the knees back together, and we're going to come forward onto all fours here into tabletop position. Just for a moment as we move into our next pose, which will be downward facing dog. So we're going to tuck the toes and we're going to push back. Pushing into the palms here, fingers are spread wide. And just taking a minute to pedal out the legs. Bending one knee and then the other. And even though we're just using this as a momentary transition pose, it's super good for the back, the lower back, just opening the spine, just stretching tailbone right through the top of the head. So you can find some stillness and find a few moments here. And then when you're ready, we're just gonna pick up that right leg and we're just gonna open it into a three-legged down dog, and then we're gonna bring it forward. Taking the knee behind the right wrist and then just stretching that back leg down the mat, untucking the toes. We're going to come into half pigeon, but we're going to start with our fingers just resting into the earth for support. Spine is straight, just stretching up here. And so you want to have the front shin ideally parallel to the top edge of the mat. But if that's not accessible to you, and it isn't to most, we just bring it in on a diagonal towards the groin. And then we just find our breath here. And just breathing, spine is straight. And then as we exhale, slowly starting to walk the hands forward. And so when we come down into half pigeon, we can rest down on the forearms. We can come right down onto the forehead, just taking the hands, putting one on top of the other, just creating a pillow and just resting the head down. And so you may wonder why we are stretching the hips here in a series for lower back pain, but often when we do have lower back pain, it's associated with tightness in other areas of the body. And usually that can be when we have tight hips, we experience the low back issues. So we want to work at opening the whole body, particularly the hips, and half pigeon is so great for getting into those hip muscles. So just coming down, trusting in the process. finding the breath and then finding some stillness. Again, this is another pose that you can spend an unlimited amount of time in, just allowing those hips to soften and open. So just taking your time, but when you're ready, we can start to move on by tucking the back toes. I'm just gonna walk the hands up. We're gonna press into the palms and we're gonna come back into a downward facing dog. We can just pedal out the legs here and just notice if you can feel a difference between the left and the right side of the body. And then we can take half pitch into the other side. So taking that left leg up to the sky, bending the knee, coming forward, taking the knee behind the left wrist. And you can see this time, you can try and have the shin parallel to the top edge of the mat, or you can just bring it in. And then just coming up onto the fingertips. And actually, this is a great pose to use that block or that book that you have handy. So just making sure that is available. Coming back into the pose. So back leg is extended down along the mat, the top of the foot just lightly pressing down. We can stay up on the fingertips to begin, just straightening through the spine. Just opening the chest here as well. Drawing the shoulder blades back and together. Find the breath. And then as you exhale, we're slowly just gonna start to walk ourselves down. Again, coming down onto the forearms or just dropping the forehead down to the mat. Just finding what's accessible for you. And so if you did want to use your prop here, your block or your book, you just want to become aware of the right hip here. You want to make sure that the hips are in line and squared together. And so if there is a bit of space between your hip and the mat, you can just slide the block underneath. And that way we're just bringing the earth a little bit closer for support. And then you can just come back down. And then over time, you can remove the block and the hips will just rest and settle down. And then when you're ready, we can slowly start to peel the body up off the earth. We can press into the palms, tuck the back toe, just pressing back into a downward facing dog. Take the hips left and right, pressing down into the palms. And then we're slowly going to drop the knees down to the earth. We're going to take the chest down in between the palms. And we're going to slide onto our bellies here. And just take a moment, just resting the forehead down on the earth, just neutralizing the spine. And you can just take the hips left and right, just releasing the lower back. And then we're going to move into Sphinx pose. So we're going to take the arms, the forearms down to the earth. And you just want to make sure that the elbows are in line with the shoulders here. Forearms and palms are pressing down, just creating the shape of the number 11 with the arms. And then as we press down into the earth, we can work to drag the heart forward. We're opening the chest here. And as well as opening the chest, we're just creating a slight compression in that lower back. And so Sphinx pose is one of those poses that is amazing for lower back pain and just working therapeutically with the spine. And if you do find that this is too much compression in your back, if you are working with some injury, you can even come down into baby cobra. So the hands would come underneath the shoulders and you're just bringing the chest up, making sure to keep the spine straight, neck and head in line. And here you're just working on the strength of the lower back here, so very therapeutic. But then when you are ready to progress, we can come back up into Sphinx. Again, this is another pose you can spend as long as you need, just working to open the chest, creating that compression in the lower spine, just taking your time. And just adding this into your practice every day, just 5 minutes. It's just going to do wonders for any back issues that you are working with. So even though it doesn't seem, it's no big movement, it's very, very beneficial for the spine and any problems that you are having. And then when you're ready, you can slowly just lower the forehead back down to the earth, taking the hands underneath the shoulders, and then we're going to press back, just coming onto our knees, walking the hands into the body. And so those are some poses that you can bring into your practice every single day, especially if you are working with any kind of lower back injury. Just remembering to proceed with care, listening to your body, just moving slowly and using blocks, using any props that you need to bring the earth closer. Just allow the spine to heal over time, just trusting in the process and not rushing yourself, and yeah, good things will come. So give it a go, and thank you for practicing with me. Namaste. Would you like to improve your strength and flexibility? Transform your mind and body? Learn to make delicious recipes and deepen your practice? So subscribe to our channel and visit jivayogalive.com.